We'll see about acquired cataract. We have studied that congenital and developmental cataracts occur due to disturbance in formation of lens fibers. That is, instead of clear opaque lens, fibers are produced. While in acquired cataract, opacification occurs due to degeneration of already formed normal fibers. Few common varieties of acquired cataract are described here. Age-related cataracts also. Senile cataract is commonest type of acquired cataract, affecting equally persons of either sex, usually above age of 50 years. Condition usually bilateral, but almost always one is affected earlier than other. Morphologically, the senile cataract occurs in two forms: cortical or nuclear. Cortical is soft cataract, nucleus is hard cataract. Cortical senile cataract may start as cuneiform, more commonly, or cupuliform, posterior subcapsular cataract. It is very common to find nuclear and cortical senile cataracts coexisting in the same eye, and for this reason it is difficult to give an accurate assessment of their relative frequency. In general, predominant form can be given as cuneiform, nuclear 25%, posterior capsular 5%. It is due to aging process. Risk factors. Age is it is called as age-related cataracts because it occurs after 50 years of age. When it is occurred before 45 years, the term pre-senile cataracts is used. By age of 70 years, over 90% of individuals develop senile cataract. 6. It affects both males and females. However, in many studies, it is about prevalence of cataracts in females. Hereditary, it plays a considerable role in incidence, age of onset, and maturation of senile cataract in different families. Ultraviolet radiations, more exposure to UV radiation from sunlight, have been implicated for early onset and maturation of senile cataract in many epidemiological studies. Dietary fibers, dietary deficient certain proteins, amino acid, vitamins, riboflavin, vitamin E, vitamin C, essential elements have also been blamed for early onset and maturation of senile cataract. Dehydration crisis, an association with prior episode of severe dehydration crisis and age of onset and maturation of cataract is also suggested. Smoking has also been reported to have some effect on age of onset of senile cataract. Smoking causes, the reason behind this is smoking causes accumulation of pigmented molecules 3-hydroxy kynurenine and chromophores, which lead to yellowing. Cyanides in smoke cause carbamylation protein denaturation. Causes of pre-senile cataract. Heredity plays the major role. Cataract changes may occur at early age in successive generation. Diabetes mellitus. Age-related cataract occurs early in diabetes. Myotonic dystrophy is also associated with posterior subcapsular type of pre-senile cataract. Christmas tree cataract is typically seen in this condition. Atopic dermatitis may be associated with pre-senile cataract in 10% of cases. Concept of sin and co-cateratogenic factors. It has been conceptualized that cataract is the result of multiple subthreshold cateratogenic stresses in a concert. Age has been implicated as one of these cateratogenic stresses, and superimposition of other toxicities on aging hence may accelerate the rate of cataract formation. Conversely, the elimination of one or more cateratogenic stresses may delay the cataract formation. Mechanism of loss of transparency. Cortical senile cataract and nuclear senile cataract. Cortical senile cataract, its main biochemical features are decreased levels in crystalline lens of total proteins, amino acids, potassium associated with increased concentration of sodium, and marked hydration of lens, followed by coagulation of lens protein. The probable course of events leading to senile opacification of cortex is as shown in the figure 9.11. With increase in age, decrease in function of active transfer mechanism of lens, then reversal of Na plus and K plus ratio, hydration of lens fibers, then it leads to denaturation of lens protein, then opacification occurs. Then another reason is with increased age reduced oxidative reactions, decrease levels of amino acid, decrease in of proteins in lens fibers. Nuclear cataract. In this, the usual degeneration is intensification of age-related nuclear sclerosis associated with dehydration and compaction of nucleus, resulting in a hard cataract. It is accompanied by a significant increase in water-insoluble proteins. However, the total protein content and distribution of cations remain normal. There may or may not be associated deposition of pigment urochrome or melanin derived from amino acids or lens. Stages of maturation. Maturation of cortical type of senile cataract. Maturation of cortical type of senile cataract. Stage of lamellar separation. The earliest senile change is demarcation of cortical fibers owing to their separation by fluid. This is first stage. It is the demarcation of cortical fibers owing to their separation by fluid. This phenomenon of lamellar separation can be demonstrated by slit lamp examination only. These changes are reversible. Stage of incipient cataract. In this stage, early detectable opacity with clear areas between them are seen. Two distinct types of senile cortical cataract can be recognized at this stage. First one is cuneiform senile cortical cataract. Cuneiform is it is characterized by wedge-shaped opacities with clear areas in between. These extend from equator towards center and in early stages can only be demonstrated after dilation of pupil. They are first seen in lower nasal quadrant. These opacities are present both in anterior and posterior cortex, and their apices slowly progress towards pupil. And on oblique illumination, these present as typical radial spoke-like pattern of grayish-white opacities. Diagram depiction of immature senile cataract as seen by oblique illumination in optical section with beam of slit lamp. Since the cuneiform cataract starts at periphery, extends centrally, the visual disturbances are noted comparatively late age. Next is cupliform senile cataract. Here a saucer-shaped opacity develops just below the capsule, usually in central part of posterior cortex. It is saucer-shaped, that is wedge-shaped. Then it is usually seen in the central part of posterior cortex, posterior subcapsular cataract, which gradually extends outwards. There is usually a definite demarcation between cataract and surrounding clear cortex. Cupliform cataract lies right in the pathway of axial rays and thus causes an early loss of visual acuity. Immature senile cataract. In this stage, opacification progresses further. The cuneiform or cupliform patterns can be recognized till advanced stage of ISC, when opacification becomes more diffuse and irregular. The lens appears greyish white. But clear cortex is still present, so iris shadow is visible. In some patients, at this stage, lens may become swollen due to continued hydration. This condition is called intumescent cataract. Intumescence may be persist even next stage of maturation. Mature senile cataract. In this stage, opacification becomes incomplete. That is, whole of cortex is involved. Lens becomes pearly white in color. Such a cataract is labeled as ripe cataract. Hypermature senile cataract. When the mature cataract is left in situ, the stage of hypermaturity sets in. Hypermature cataract may occur in following two forms. Morganian hypermature cataract. In some patients, after maturity, the whole cortex liquefies and the lens is converted into bag of milky fluid. Morganian is bag of milky fluid like cortex. The small brownish nucleus settles at the bottom, altering its position with change in position of the head. Such a cataract is known as Morganian cataract, seen in this picture 9.15. Morgan hypermature senile cataract, a dramatic depiction and clinical photograph. Here the nucleus settles down and cortex becomes a bag of milky white appearance. Sometimes calcium deposits are also seen. Sclerotic type hypermature cataract. Sometimes after the stage of maturity, the cortex becomes disintegrated and the lens becomes shrunken due to leakage of water. Anterior capsule is wrinkled and thickened due to proliferation of anterior cells, and a dense white capsular cataract may be formed in pupillary area. Due to shrinkage of lens, anterior chamber becomes deep and iris becomes tremulous. Iridodonesis. Maturation of nuclear senile cataract. Progressive nuclear sclerotic process renders the lens inelastic and hard and decreases ability to accommodate and obstructs the light rays. These changes begin centrally. That is, the progressive nuclear sclerotic process renders the lens inelastic and it becomes very hard, so that the light rays cannot enter. These changes become centrally and spread slowly peripherally, almost up to capsule when it becomes mature. However, a very thin layer of cortex may remain unaffected. The nucleus becomes diffusely cloudy, greyish or tinted yellow to black due to deposition of pigments like duochrome, etc. In practice, the commonly observed pigment nuclear cataracts are either amber, brown, cataracta brunescens or black cataracta nigra. This is very important, and rarely it is cataracta rubra in color. Let's see the images. This is nuclear cataract, cataracta brunescens, cataracta nigra and cataracta rubra. Rubra is the reddish color, and black is black is nigra, and brown is brunescens. Symptoms: an opacity of lens may be present without causing any symptoms. That is main point. Common symptoms are glare. One of the early visual disturbance with cataract is glare or intolerance of bright light. Photophobia is intolerance of normal light, such as direct sunlight or headlights of oncoming motor vehicle. The amount of glare or dazzle will vary with location, size of opacity. Uniocular polyopia, that is doubling or trebling of objects. It is also one of the early symptoms. It occurs due to irregular refraction. That is, if one rays enter, it will be refracted, so that multiple refraction occurs and multiple images are tend to be formed. So next is colored halos. They may be perceived by some patient owing to breaking of white light into colored spectrum due to presence of water droplets in the lens, like prism effect. Black spots in front of eye. Stationary black spots may be perceived by some patients. Image blur, distortion of image and misty vision may occur in early stages of cataract. Deterioration of vision. Visual deterioration due to senile cataract has some typical feature. It is painless, gradually progressive nature. Patient with central opacity, that is cupiform cataract, that is posterior subcapsular cataract, have early loss of vision. These patients see better when pupil is dilated due to dim light in the evening, day blindness. In patients with peripheral opacities, visual loss is delayed and vision improves in bright light when pupil is contracted. In patients with nuclear sclerosis, distant vision deteriorates due to progressive index myopia. Such patients may be able to read without presbyopic glasses. The improvement in near vision is refers to as secondary sight. As opacification progresses, vision steadily diminishes until only perception of light, and accurate projection of light rays remains in the stage of mature cataract. Signs. Following examination should be carried out and look for different signs of cataract shown in table 9.1. First one is visual acuity test. The visual acuity may range from 6/9 to just PL plus. Oblique illumination exam, it reveals color of lens in pupillary area which varies in different types of cataract. Test for iris shadow. When an oblique beam of light is thrown on the pupil, a crescentic shadow of pupillary margin of iris will be formed on greyish opacity of lens as long as clear cortex is present between opacity and pupillary margin. When lens is completely transparent or opaque, no iris shadow is formed. Hence, presence of iris shadow is sign of immature cataract. Distant direct ophthalmoscopic examination for procedure. See page 586. We'll see future. A reddish yellow fundal glow is observed in the absence of any opacity in the media. Partial cataractous lens show black shadow against red glow in the area of cataract. Then visual acuity, let's see for different cases. For nuclear cataract 6.9 to PL plus, immature senile cataract 6.9 to CF plus, mature senile cataract HM plus hypermetropy to PL plus. Then let's see about the visual acuity of Morganian cataract, hypermature senile cataract, which is Morganian PL plus, in HMC sclerotic PL plus. Then iris shadow not seen. Iris shadow is seen only in immature senile cataract. Distant direct ophthalmoscopy, central dark area against red frontal glow, multiple dark areas against red frontal glow, no red glow but white people due to complete cataract, no red glow, milky white people, no red glow, dirty white people seen in sclerotic hypermature senile cataract. In Morganian cataract, no red glow, milky white people is seen. Slit lamp examination, nuclear opacity clear cortex, areas of normal with cataractous cortex, complete cortex is cataractous, milky white cortex with sunken brownish nucleus, shrunken cataracts lens with thickened anterior capsule. Diagrammatic depiction of iris shadow. In immature cataract, the shadow occurs, and no iris shadow in mature cataract. Slit lamp examination should be performed with a fully dilated pupil. The examination reveals complete morphology of opacity, sight, size, shape, color, pattern, hardness of nucleus. Grading of nuclear hardness is in a cataractal lens is important for setting the parameters of Nissenin phaco-emulsification technique of cataract extraction. The hardness of the nucleus, depending upon its color on slit lamp examination, can be graded as table 9.2 and figure 9.19. Grade 1 soft, color is white or greenish yellow. Grade 2 soft, medium yellowish. Medium hard, amber. Hard is brown in color. Ultra hard is black in color. This is for nuclear cataract. And we see the images. Slit lamp biomicroscope grading of nucleus hardness cataractal lens. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 and grade 4. Then Immature senile cataract versus nuclear sclerosis. Painless progressive loss of vision is seen in immature senile cataract. Nuclear sclerosis, painless progressive loss of vision, grayish color of lens on oblique illumination, grayish color of lens. Iris shadow is present, iris shadow is absent. Main difference: black spots against retinal are observed on direct ophthalmoscope. No black spots are seen against retinal. Slit lamp examination reveals area of cataractous cortex. Slit lamp examination reveals clear lens with nuclear sclerosis. Visual acuity does not improve on pinhole testing. Visual acuity usually improves on pinhole testing. These proteins may act as antigen and induce antigen-antibody reaction leading to phacoanaphylactic uveitis. Lens-induced glaucoma. It may occur by different mechanisms. Let's see about the different types of lens-induced glaucoma. First one is phacomorphic glaucoma. It is caused by intumescent swollen and cataractous lens. It is a type of secondary angle closure glaucoma. We will see about glaucoma in the next chapter. It is the most common type of lens induced glaucoma. Phacolytic glaucoma. Lens proteins are leaked into anterior chamber in cases with Morgellons cataract. Its milky white appearance type hypermature cataract. These proteins are engulfed by macrophages. Important point: the swollen macrophages clog the trabecular mesher, leading to IOP. Thus, phacolytic glaucoma is a type of secondary open angle glaucoma. Phacotopic glaucoma. Hypermature cataract lens may subluxate and dislocate and cause glaucoma by blocking the pupil or angle of anterior chamber. Subluxation of or dislocation of lens, it may occur due to degeneration of granules in hypermature stage. Let's see about traumatic cataract in future. Metabolic cataracts. Metabolic cataracts is due to metabolic disorders and diabetic cataract. Diabetic is associated with two types of cataracts. One is senile cataract in diabetes, appears at an early age and progresses rapidly. True diabetic cataract. The classical diabetic cataract is also known as snowflake cataract or snowstorm cataract. It is a rare condition, usually occurring in young adults due to osmotic overhydration of lens. Osmotic overhydration of lens occurs due to accumulation of sorbitol when glucose is metabolized by NADPH dependent aldose reductase. Initially, a large number of fluid vacuoles appear underneath the anterior and posterior capsules, which is soon followed by appearance of bilateral snowflake-like white opacity in the cortex. Such opacity may resolve spontaneously or mature within a few days. Galactosemic cataract. It is associated with inborn error of galactose metabolism. Galactosemia occurs in two forms. Classical galactosemia occurs due to deficiency of galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase. A related disorder occurs due to deficiency of galactokinase. Characteristic features: galactosemia is frequently associated with development of bilateral cataract. Oil droplet central lens opacity. The lens changes may be reversible and occurrence of cataract may be prevented if milk and milk products are eliminated from diet when diagnosed at an early stage. Hypocalcemic tetanic cataract. Cataractous changes may be associated with parathyroid tetany, which may occur due to atrophy or inadvertent removal or parathyroid glands. Multicolor crystals are small discrete white flocks of opacity are formed in cortex which seldom mature. Junular cataract. It's characterized by thin opacified lamella deep in infantile cortex, is typically seen in infants with hypocalcemia. Cataract due to error of copper metabolism seen in Wilson disorder. Sunflower cataract, characterized by yellowish brown dots, may be observed rarely in such patients due to deposition of cuprous oxide in anterior lens capsule and subcapsular cortex is a stellate pattern. Kaiser Fleischer ring, KF ring, a golden ring due to deposition of copper in peripheral part of decimate membrane of cornea is a more commonly observed ocular feature in Wilson disease. KF ring. Cataract in Loewe syndrome, Loewe oculocerebral renal syndrome is a rare inborn error of amino acid metabolism. Ocular features include congenital cataract, glaucoma, blue sclera. Systemic features of this syndrome are mental retardation, dwarfism, osteomalacia, muscular hypotonia, and frontal prominence. Complicated cataract. It refers to opacification lens secondary to some other intraocular disease. Some authors use the term secondary cataract for complicated cataract. On the other hand, many authors use term secondary cataract to denote after cataract. Therefore, to avoid confusion and controversy, preferably the term secondary cataract should be discarded in general. So etiology, the lens depends for its nutrition on intraocular fluids. Therefore, any condition in which the ocular circulation is disturbed or in which inflammatory toxins are formed will disturb nutrition of crystalline lens, resulting in development of complicated cataract. Some important ocular conditions giving rise to complicated cataract are, that is, secondary infections, inflammatory conditions, iridocyclitis, pars planitis, uveitis, pars planitis, choroiditis, hypopyon corneal ulcer, endophthalmitis, etc. These are inflammatory conditions. Degenerative conditions such as retinitis pigmentosa and other pigmentary retinal dystrophies, retinal detachment, glaucoma, primary or secondary, may sometimes result in complicated cataract. The underlying cause here is probably the embarrassment of intraocular circulation consequent to raised pressure. Intraocular tumors such as retinoblastoma, melanoma may also give rise to complicated cataract in late stages. Clinical feature typically the complicated cataract starts as posterior subcapsular cortical cataract. The opacity is irregular in outline and variable in density. In beam of slit lamp, the opacity is of breadcrumb appearance. Polychromatic luster, that is the appearance of iridescent color patches of red, green and blue is a very characteristic sign. Rainbow cataract. Diffuse yellow haze is seen in adjoining cortex. Slowly the opacity spreads in rest of cortex, and finally the entire lens become opaque and giving rise to dirty white or chalky white appearance. Deposition of calcium is common in later stages. Drug-induced cataract, corticosteroids-induced cataract. Corticosteroids are posterior subcapsular opacities are associated with use of topical as well as systemic steroids. Exact relation between dose and duration of corticosteroid therapy with development of cataract is still unclear. However, in general, prolonged use of steroids in high doses may result in cataract formation. Children are more susceptible than adults. Therefore, it is recommended that all patients with disease requiring prolonged corticosteroid therapy should be regularly examined on slit lamp by an ophthalmologist. Other intermittent regimens should be preferred over regular therapy, and whenever possible steroids should be substituted with NSAIDs. Miotics induced cataract. Miotics, anterior subcapsular granular type of cataract, may be associated with long-term use of miotics, particularly long-acting cholinesterase inhibitors such as ecothiophyte, dimicarium bromide, disopropyl fluorophosphate. Removal of drug may stop progression and occasionally may cause reversal of cataract. Other drug-induced cataracts. Other drugs associated with fine toxic cataracts are amiodarone, chlorpromazine, busulfan, gold and allopurinol. Radiation cataract, exposure to radiant energy known to produce cataract. Infrared cataract, irradiation cataract. It is typically seen in person working in glass industry known as glass blowers or glass worker cataract. Irradiation cataract, X-rays, gamma rays. There is usually latent period ranging from 6 months to few years between exposure and development of cataract. Ultraviolet radiation cataract. Long-term exposure to ultraviolet radiation have been linked with senile cataract in many studies. Electric cataract. Electric current through the body after passing the cataract occurs. Then syndromatotic cataract. Cancers with cutaneous disease are termed as syndromatotic cataracts. Such cataracts are bilateral, occur at a young age. Atopic dermatitis is the most common cutaneous disease associated with cataract. Other skin disorders are vascular atrophies, scleroderma, keratotic follicularis, etc. Management of cataract in adults. We'll see about the management. Non-surgical measures in acquired cataracts. Thorough search should be made to find out the cause of cataract. Treatment of caused disease many a time may stop progression. Sometimes in early stage may cause even regression of cataractous changes and thus differ the surgical treatment. Some common examples include adequate control of diabetes mellitus when discovered, removal of cataractogenic drugs such as corticosteroids, phenothiazines, strong myotics may delay or prevent cataractogenesis. Removal of irradiation, infrared or X-rays may also delay or prevent cataract formation. Early and adequate treatment of ocular disease like uveitis may prevent occurrence of complicated cataract. Measures to delay progression include topical preparations, topical preparation containing iodide salts of calcium and phosphates are being prescribed in abundance in early stages of cataract in a bid to delay its progression. However, till date, no conclusive results about their role are available. Role of vitamin E and aspirin in delaying the process of cataractogenesis is also mentioned. Measures to improve vision in presence of incipient and immature cataract. Prescription of lens, glasses, refractive status, which often changes considerable quality. That is, for each checkup, it increases the refractive error. Should be corrected at frequent intervals. Arrangement of illumination. Patient with peripheral opacities, pupil areas still free, may be instructed to use brilliant illumination for everything. Conversely, in presence of central opacity, a dull light placed beside, slightly behind the patient's head will give the best result. Use of dark goggles in patients with central opacity is of great value and comfort when worn outdoors, so that the pupil dilates and through the peripheral clearness in the lens they can view. Mydriatis, patients with small axial cataract frequently may be benefited from pupillary dilation. This allows the clear paraxial lens to participate in light transmission, image formation, and focusing. Materials such as 5% phenylephrine, 1% tropicamate, 1 drop BAD in the affected eye may be clarify the vision. Surgical management. Visual improvement is by far most common indication. For the visual improvement only we are mostly doing the surgeries. When surgery should be advised for visual improvement varies from person to person depending upon individual visual needs. So one individual should be operated for cataract when the visual handicap becomes significant deterrent to the maintenance of his or her usual lifestyle and profession. Medical indication. Sometimes patient may be comfortable from visual point but may be advised cataract surgery due to medical grounds such in presence of lens-induced glaucoma, phacoanaphylaxis, endophthalmitis, retinal disease like diabetic retinopathy, retinal detachment, treatment of which is being hampered by presence of lens opacity. Cosmetic indications. in order to obtain a black people pre-operative evaluation workup, general medical examination of patient to diabetes mellitus and hypertension, cardiac problem, lung disorders, etc., septic gums, urinary tract infection, etc., ocular examination through slit lamp biomicroscopy disabled in all cases. The following useful information is essential before the patient is considered for surgery: visual status assessment, visual acuity, perception of light, projection of light rays. It is a crude but important easy test for function of peripheral retina. It is tested in a semi-dark room with opposite eye covered. A thin beam of light is thrown in the patient's eye from 4 directions, and the patient is asked to look straight ahead and point out the direction from which the light seems to come. Inaccurate PR may be due to old retinal detachment, visual pathway defects, advanced glaucoma, large area of choroid retinopathy, retinal atrophy, and indicates poor visual prognosis. However, sometimes in dense cataract, PR may be inaccurate with good visual prognosis. Potential visual acuity tests: laser, interferometry, potential acuity meter, etc. People should be examined to check for light reactions and RAPD. Marcus gun people, RAPD times Marcus gun people. Ability of pupils to dilate adequately before surgery. Anterior segment evaluation by slit lamp biomicroscopy. Cornea should be examined to note any scarring, endothelial status. In patient with suspicion of endothelial dystrophy, specular microscopy examination should be carried out for endothelial cell count and morphology. Normal cell count in elderly patient is 2000-2500 cells per cubic millimeter. Below 1500 special care needed. Keratotic specialist should note at the back of cornea suggests management of subtle uveitis before cataract surgery. Cataract lens should be evaluated for morphology and maturity of cataract for grade of nuclear sclerosis. Other signs to be particularly looked for include posterior synechiae, pseudo exfoliation, iridodonosis, pigments over anti-lens capsule, anterior chamber depth. Intraocular pressure should also be measured preferentially by applanation tonometry. Examination of lids, conjunctiva and lacrimal apparatus to rule out meibomians, blepharitis, lacrimal sac infection. Conjunctival swab culture and sensitivity should be carried out in doubtful cases. Lacrimal sac should receive special attention. Lacrimal syringing should be carried out orderly in patients with history of persistent watering from eyes. In cases where chronic dacrocystis is discovered, either DCR, dacrocystorhinostomy, or dacryocystectomy operation should be performed. Fundus examination, it should be carried out with special attention on macula to rule out other causes of decreased vision. Macular function test. It's important to predict visual potential in patients with very dense cataracts. Where fundus examination is not possible, a few simple macular function tests are as follows. Two light discrimination tests. Patient is asked to look through an opaque disc perforated with 2 pinholes, behind which a light is held. The holes are 2 inches apart and kept about 2 feet away from the eye. If the patient can perceive 2 lights, it indicates normal macular function. This is for macula. Maddox rod test for the rod and arcuate perception of red lines indicates normal function. Color perception, entopic visualization, it is evaluated by rubbing point source of light such as bare lighted bulb in closed eyelids. If the patient perceives the retinal vascular pattern in black outline, it is favorable indication of retinal function. Being subjective in nature, the importance of negative tests can be considered. The patient can perceive the pattern with opposite eye. Objective tests for evaluating retina are required if some retinal pathology is suspected. These tests include ultrasonic evaluation of posterior segment of eye, electrophysiological studies such as ERG, electroocologram and VER, visually evoke response, keratometry and biometry to calculate power of intraocular lens to be implanted and performed in each case to be taken up for cataract surgery. Pre-operative medication preparations. Consent with detailed information about the procedure, risks involved and outcome expected. Scrub bath, care of hair, marking of eye. Each patient should be instructed to have a scrub bath, including face and hair wash with soap and water. Periodic antibiotics and disinfection. Topical antibiotics such as 4th generation fluoroquinolone, moxifloxacin or gatifloxacin may be used QID for 3 days to eradicate conjunctival bacterial flora. Povidone iodine solution should be used to paint the lids and facial skin preferably 2 to 3 hours before surgery. Single drop 10 to 30 minutes before surgery is one of the most effective measure to decrease bacterial flora. IOP lowering. A few surgeons also prefer to lower IOP in manual small incision cataract surgery, SICS, and phacoemulsification. It can be accomplished by mechanical pressure, digital massage, or Hanon balloon, or by IOP lowering drugs, IV mannitol or acetozolamide. Mydriasis sustained throughout the procedure is required for successful completion of surgery. It can be obtained by topical tropicamide 1% or cyclopentolate plus phenylephrine 2.5% should be instilled every 15 minutes 4 to 6 times before surgery. Topical cyclooxygenase inhibitor flurbiprofen 0.3%, ketorolac 0.5%, diclofenac 0.1% instilled 3 times a day before surgery and every 15 minutes. 4 times immediately before surgery helps in maintaining mydriasis during procedure. Anesthesia it's also given. And types and choice of cataract surgery. Intracapsular cataract extraction surgery. In this technique the entire cataract lens along with intact capsule is removed. Therefore weak and degenerated granules are prerequisite for this method. Weak and degenerated granules. Indication ICCE has stood for test of time and been widely employed 100 years. Now it has been almost entirely replaced by planned extracapsular techniques. At present, the only indication of ICCE is markedly subluxed dislocated lens. In this technique, major portion of anterior capsule with epithelium, nucleus and cortex are removed, leaving behind the intact posterior capsule. Indications. Presently, extracapsular cataract extraction techniques are surgery of choice for almost all types of adulthood as well as childhood cataract unless contraindicated. The only absolute contraindication of ECC is markedly subluxated or dislocation. Subluxation is the contraindications. Advantage of ECCE technique or ICCE. ECC is a universal operation and can be performed at all stages except when granules are not intact. Whereas ICC cannot be performed below 40 years, but when granules are not intact, we can perform. Posterior chamber IOL can be implanted after ECCE, while it cannot be implanted after ICCE. Post-operative vitreous related problems such as herniation in anterior chamber, pupillary block and vitreous touch syndrome associated with ICCE are not seen after ECCE. Incidence of postoperative complications such as endophthalmitis, cystoid macular edema and retinal detachment much less than after ECCE and compared to that of ICCE. Postoperative astigmatism is less with ECCE. Prognosis for subsequent glaucoma, filtering or corneal transplantation is much improved with ECCE. Different techniques of extracorporeal cataract. Surgical techniques of ECCE presently in vogue are conventional extracapsular cataract extraction, manual small incision cataract surgery, phacoemulsification. Large incision still being performed by some surgeons. It is replaced by SICS. Merits of conventional ECCE or SICS. The only merit of conventional ECCE or SICE that is it's a simple technique to master with short learning short learning curve. Demerits of conventional ECCE: long incision, multiple sutures, open chamber surgery with high risk of vitreous prolapse, high incidence of postoperative astigmatism, postoperative suture related problems like irritation, postoperative wound related problems, wound leak, shallowing of antechamber, eyes prolapse, need suture removal, during which infection may occur. Next, we'll continue in the fourth part of the video.